Hello and welcome to Sticks and Stones. I'm very, very happy to have my friend Beth with us today. Hi, Beth.
Hi, I'm very, very happy to be here.
Good. Beth is one of my absolute favorite people. She just has such a great energy about her and is willing to share some pretty deep stuff about your story today.
Yeah, always.
And I love that about you. So if you guys are joining us for the first time, Sticks and Stones is a platform that I wanted to create because that old adage, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me, I think is BS. I think the words and the phrases that we tell ourselves or we hear from others throughout our life can really shape our mindset, some of the choices we might make, and also just how we feel about ourselves in general. And I want to call attention to those and share stories from myself, from my guests, and how we've overcome them, and offer some value to all of the viewers out there. So thank you for being part of this.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, let's get to it. So I'm going to share a word, and then we're going to chat about it a little bit, and then we're going to have Beth share her word and the story that's circled around it. Both of our words and stories today are circling around somewhat similar situations. If you guys know me at all, you know that I volunteer with a nonprofit called Adam's Place, and they are a center that helps children deal with a loss of a loved one, namely a parent and a sibling. They have support sessions, they call them Camp Copes, that help the children learn healthy coping skills to walk through their grief. So we're going to talk a little bit about loss today and some of our stories, and then also I'm going to share what I'm doing with Adam's Place to help support them in the month of November, because it is National Children's Grief Awareness Month. Beth has also put a program together in her private group to help support Adam's Place too, which she will share a little bit about that later.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. My word, despair. Ooh. I chose this word despair because I have felt this many times in my life. Have you ever felt despair?
Oh, many times, yeah.
Okay. I have made some choices in my life that were completely of my own doing where I felt despair. But then there's also been some situations that I had zero control over, that it just happened, and I truly felt like there was absolutely no way out of it. I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, am I gonna feel like this for the rest of my life? It's like you're in this big hole. There's no ladder, there's no rock, there's no way to climb out of it. You're just stuck looking at the top like, how the hell do I get out of this? Have you had that feeling before?
Oh, more than once, for sure.
Yeah. This is definitely an emotion and a word that reoccurs, I think, in life at times.
Yeah.
But the area I wanted to share today was about 4.5 years ago. I had lost my boyfriend, pretty much my fiance. There was an accident at Lake Mead and he passed away. And going through that grief, that loss, that is a very descriptive word, despair, of what I felt. I remember thinking, how do I move on?
Right.
How do I get out of this? I don't want to feel like this for the rest of my life. I saw no possible way to get through it. I know that's something you might have felt before.
Yes, I have. I think, several times, but the biggest The biggest and hardest hump for me was when I was a teenager. I was 13 and my mom passed away. And it was very painful. It was traumatic. And she committed suicide. So I think there's so many stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that. No one, at the time helped me. That's why I do love what Adam's Place is doing. But there's so many, and I really was just in shock and in denial.
Yeah.
But there was a time, and it was many years later that I, had to deal with the pain of that loss, and it did feel like it was never going to go away, or how would I move on? And you feel stuck with no choices.
Right.
So it is.
And that's
fair.
One of the reasons I'm really grateful for you to be on this show today is to share that piece of your story, because, I was 34 years old when I lost Shane. So I'm an adult, right?
Right.
And going through that journey, grief never leaves you, right? You learn to deal with it, hopefully in healthy ways. I did not at first. You learn tools, you learn your new normal. It's a journey forever, I feel. But one of the reasons that I really connected with Adam's Place was that they're helping the kids.
Right.
Kids from 5 to 18, and the families as well. But I cannot imagine being a child and even beginning to understand the emotions that you go through when you lose a loved one. As an adult, I know how hard it was, and children don't really have the tools yet, and depending on what age it is, to label those emotions or understand what they're feeling to even express it.
Right.
Is that something that you felt?
Oh, most definitely. And I think not having the tools to deal or cope with it, but then I was also surrounded by adults who didn't have the tools either.
Yeah.
And so how could they give me something they didn't have? And I think I think we've come a long way. When I look back, I'm 45 now, so I can't do quick math, but it's been a while. 32 years.
There you go.
And we've come a long way, because counseling was really looked down upon at that time, because I can remember it really wasn't mentioned. I can remember hearing my dad maybe kind of whisper or talk about it to other adults, like maybe I should take her somewhere and have her, but no one knew what to do. It wasn't as accepted, and it was uncomfortable. So I do think we've come a long way,
right.
in where people, they do talk more, and there is more help, and it's not completely accepted, but it's more accepted than it was.
I'd agree with that. Did you find that because you really didn't know how, or nobody knew how to help you or even help yourself at that time, that it came out later in life? Almost like had to go through the grief again, or?
Yeah, well, no, really what happened, now, I wasn't a small child, 13, I'm young, adolescent, I guess in a way.
That's a teenager, that might be worse than a small kid.
Teenager, but I was a really good kid, and when that happened, I started making really bad choices. Like you mentioned that you went to make bad choices.
Oh, yeah.
But I got drunk the first time, 2 months after my mom passed away. I started smoking, I started doing drugs, I started shoplifting, I started promiscuous activity, all kinds of outlets. And I can look back now and know that I was just numbing the pain. I was doing anything and everything to not have to feel that pain.
Right.
And that is one of the stages of grief. But I did not learn about it. It wasn't until 5 years later where I got in some trouble, where I fell out of a Jeep, with it in motion down the road. And
wow.
started then having some other issues, but it was 5 years later that I actually started to kind of peel back the layers and deal with that pain. And so then it was another probably a good 5 years of counseling and going through that. So had someone like Adam's Place been there and taught me some of those tools or understood, I think some of that could have been delayed. Because when you numb and run and stuff, like, it only delays things and makes them worse. And so
yeah, I agree. The numbing situation or the avoidance, trying to avoid, it masks it. You're not really getting rid of it. It's almost making it worse at times.
And small children or younger children having to go through that, they can mask it and avoid it in other ways to where that it's going to show up. You have to be able to safely be in a safe place to go through pain, and if you are not given that opportunity, like, it will show up later in one way or the other in your life. So I think Adam's Place is doing a great thing and helping. We talk about the children now and the families that it's helping, but you're not really projecting into the future of all the further problems in society and in the world. And I'm sure they do talk about that, but
well, on that note, because that's a really important point that you bring up, I'm going to go ahead and just read some bullet points here based off what Beth just said, because getting the help for a child when they do lose somebody is so important for that here and now, but also to help them become stronger and healthier moving forward into their lives. So here's some studies about grieving children. They can have increased depression and anxiety throughout childhood and adulthood, decreased academic performance, increased probability of delinquency, increased probability of drug use, increased probability of early sexual activity and teen pregnancy, and increased probability of gang involvement.
Right.
And, being involved with Adam's Place, and then I had met Beth a little bit after that, and then, her and I, just through conversation, I learned a little bit about her story. And those are statistics that I just read off, but, because you didn't get the help too, a lot of these bullet points were true, in your life.
Yeah, it is. And I think for so much, for so many, it is.
Right. And I feel so strongly about trying to help support this nonprofit to support these children and support these families. So, someone that has a tragic loss like Beth did doesn't have to take 10 or 15 years through hardships of choices they've made because they don't know any better, or they're trying to mask it, or they don't know how to identify what they're going through, and can go through it in a healthy way and, not lose chunks of their life trying to deal with the things they chose to do to mask it.
Yeah. Well, I think giving the support in the community is so important, because when you were talking about the one word that you were picking, I was like, well, what word would I pick?
What is your word?
It would be abandoned. Like, I felt abandoned, and I'm sure even with losing your fiance, there is a sense of abandonment.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're looking at a younger child, like 7, 8, or, however old, they have that feeling, but they do not know what to do with it.
Right.
And if there are people and support there and helping them get their needs met, then it's going to go, their whole life is going to go a lot smoother, because there's nothing, abandonment is a really, it's it's very isolating, but there's really no words to describe the depths of that and the deep, the darkness of what that was, basically like a soul wound does. And especially to someone who's growing, still developing.
Right.
So
that's a great word to describe it, because you feel so alone. Mm-hmm. I think at any age.
Oh yeah.
I just know as an adult, though, it's a little easier to understand maybe how you feel. A child probably has no idea what it is that they're going through. Mm-hmm. But thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That means a lot. A lot to me, and all your support with Adam's Place throughout the years.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's such a great organization. So I remember when I met Kelly, the founder, mm-hmm. and I met her and talked to her, and I just teared up, and I didn't, and it was fine. She's like, "Oh, it happens all the time." But
that happened to me too when I first met her.
But I just teared up because I was so thankful that she was been courageous and brave enough mm-hmm. to turn, the pain that she's gone through and turn it into something so beautiful that so many people need.
Yeah. And Kelly, the founder, she lost her son when he was in college in a car accident, and the whole story is on their website, but that's what ultimately sparked her to start Adam's Place, because she had another son. So he had a brother. Adam was the name of the son that passed away, and she was looking for help for him and really couldn't find a support system that would give them the tools continuously and help them, go through even all the different age groups and how you change as you grow. So that's how Adam's Place was born.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff today, but at the same time, it's so needed, and awareness needs to be brought to this topic, because here's some other quick stats for you, and then we'll share with you how you can help. Estimates are that 1 in 5 school-age children experience the death of a loved one. 1 in 20 children experience the death of a parent or sibling by high school. 7 in 10 teachers report they have grieving students in their classrooms, and over 25,000 children right here in Clark County experience the death of a parent. So, I always say with Adam's Place, we're not for lack of customers, which is a sad point, but we're always in need of help and support so that we can build out the organization to actually go into schools or to go into other facilities to train people that work with children. Right now, we're just starting to do that, but the Adam's Place facility, it's its own little entity there, can only hold so much space for children, and it's nowhere, even touching the numbers of children that we need to reach. So I am going to post a link on the top of this post and in the comments if you would like to support Adam's Place. There is a link to where you can donate financially, or you can just simply like their page and even maybe share the page. And if you have it in your heart to volunteer in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and reach out to me and I can help you with that. And then Beth also has something going on for Adam's Place.
It's almost over. But you can still join if you would like. I have a group. It's called Reconnecting with Faith, Food, and Fitness. And in that group, we've been practicing gratitude all month, as a lot of people have.
Which I love that.
But we have a photo challenge going on. So every time somebody posts a photo of something they're thankful for, it earns $1 for Adam's Place. And I need to start kind of counting now to see how much money we're going to be able to give in that effort. And there's also a couple drawings for a $25 gift card to Amazon, and it's just for fun and thanks. We're giving thanks and we're giving. So
Yes. Thank you for doing that.
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Me too. All right, we are at our 20-minute mark. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next month.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Gene Wood's Racing Experience, named for the racing veteran and 3-time champion, packs big racing action into extremely fast, high-performance karts that let you battle the other competitors side by side